My husband spent millions to build me a custom sanitary napkin factory, saying he wanted to protect me from any harm for life. But then I caught him giving my personal products to his secretary, even changing the name on the press release to Way. 10 years of deep love couldn't compete with a fleeting infatuation. He forgot my period, forgot I'm allergic to sweet osmanthus flowers, and even put me in danger for the other woman. Since love has become a joke, I'll fake my death to escape, and let them experience the taste of betrayal and having nothing. Worried about me using low-quality sanitary napkins, Ethan Chase spent millions to build a one-of-a-kind sanitary napkin factory just for me, he said to the world. Even if all sanitary napkins in the world are made from inferior cotton, my wife's napkins are made from the organic cotton I personally planted. I want my wife to be healthy and happy, never troubled by gynecological issues. When he said that, the world thought he loved me deeply, and I thought so too. But then I saw him rush into the bathroom, holding his secretary, who was complaining about period cramps. This is the one Ethan Chase specially made for Madam. I can't use it. What are you talking about? I said you can use it. She wouldn't dare say no. Be good. Do I need to change it for you? I forced a smile as I walked out of the bathroom. 5 minutes later, Ethan Chase walked in proudly, followed by a crying Vanessa White. All the employees thought Vanessa White's behavior upset Ethan Chase. Only I knew what they had just done. The press conference for the napkin launch was about to begin, and Ethan Chase hurried over to my side. He proudly pulled out a heating pad and insisted on putting it on me. I remember today is your period. You need to keep warm. If it were before, I would have been so happy, thinking he was all about me. But now, having seen his dark side, all I felt was disgust, like I'd swallowed a fly. Before I could say anything, the surrounding employees began praising him. Our boss, he really pampers his wife, not only personally designing sanitary napkins for her, but even remembering her period. Right. Oh my God, where can I pray to get a boyfriend like him? The praise felt like sharp needles in my heart, and I shook my head with a forced smile, trying to change the subject. Then, I overheard a chilling remark. Just a yellow-faced woman. Does she really think she's something? I'm not even sure she'll last. I looked up to see a woman I didn't recognize, who seemed to be guilty. In my mind, I could hear Vanessa White crying in the bathroom, begging Ethan Chase to get her friend a job. Ethan Chase grabbed the woman roughly, venting his anger. Call it sweet. Then I'll consider it. Vanessa White called sweetly, and Ethan Chase smiled happily. Good girl. Of course. I've already had HR bring her in. You'll have someone to keep you company now. Boss, you're so kind. So the once iron-faced Ethan Chase would let others off the hook. The Ethan Chase who remembered my period, now only remembered her, and forgot today wasn't even my period. I ignored the sarcastic remarks from Vanessa White's friend and turned to look at Ethan Chase on stage. I announced that the sanitary napkins I personally developed for my wife, Mia Carter, are officially in use. Then, without hesitation, he pulled down the curtain. But the name on the brand wasn't mine. It was the glaring Way. The next second, everyone erupted in shock. What's going on? Didn't boss he name the napkins after his wife, Shui? Why did it change? No way. Isn't this the name of Bossy's secretary? Oh my God. What a big scandal we've just witnessed. So dramatic. Ethan Chase was stunned, and immediately turned to look at a pitiful Vanessa White, with no trace of anger in his eyes. Secretary Young, this was your responsibility. What happened? How could you make such a mistake? Vanessa White, with red eyes, looked like a frightened little rabbit. I'm sorry, boss I was so tired yesterday. I accidentally typed the wrong character. I made a mistake with Madam's name. I can't fix it. Please punish me however you like. She hurriedly explained, and Ethan Chase's expression softened involuntarily. You silly thing. It's just a mistake. Just pay attention next time. It's no big deal. Hearing those words, my heart hurt even more. No big deal? I remembered a time when a business partner mispronounced my name, and Ethan Chase immediately demanded an apology, not caring about the millions of dollars lost. But now, in front of the whole world, he said my name didn't matter. Then, Ethan Chase turned to look at me, as if remembering I was there. Right, wife. Just one word. Let's let it go. I suddenly laughed, tears flowing from my eyes. I walked up and handed him the heating pad, firmly saying, it can't be let go. Ethan Chase, if you think it's a small thing, then let's get divorced. I don't need this sanitary napkin. Ethan Chase's face instantly turned serious. Don't joke. Just because Vanessa White mistyped one character, you're going to divorce me? That would hurt my heart. I'm serious. You're right. Just because of one character, I want a divorce. I said each word with conviction, shaking everyone around me. The entire conference room fell silent. I took off my wedding ring and threw it away. Without looking back, I turned and walked out. Ethan Chase panicked and rushed to stop me. Wife, what's wrong? I'll fix it right away, okay? But before he could catch up, Vanessa White fainted in a pale heap on the ground. Ethan Chase looked at my retreating figure, then hesitantly went back to her side. Vanessa White, are you okay? I'll take you to the hospital. And he never caught up. I left the conference hall, flagged down a car, and went straight to the Global Aid Initiative. I headed for the manager's office and handed him my language proficiency certificate. Manager Chen had a stern expression. He was not only my former teacher but also my parents' close friend. Mia Carter, are you sure you want to go to Kenya on your own? Will Ethan Chase allow you to go? I smiled bitterly, holding the agreement tightly. After thinking for a while, I finally spoke the truth. Teacher, Ethan Chase, he's cheating. He won't care whether I go or not. Professor Clara Hale was stunned, quickly asking, how is that possible? Back when you were in school, he drove you to school every day, and took care of everything for you. When your parents passed away, he handled all the arrangements. Teacher was right. Ethan Chase really did love me deeply. We were high school classmates. And back then, when I wasn't feeling well, he would ride his bike to take me to school every day. He'd even fight for me when others mocked me for being sickly. At 17, he fought like a madman, shouting it was his fault for not taking better care of me. When my parents died in a car accident, he kneeled in front of them, swearing to protect me with all his might. Ethan Chase, I swear, I'll protect my wife's safety and give her a home. And he did. After marriage, worried about my health, he created a custom sanitary napkin just for me. He knew everything about me, meticulously taking care of me. I once thought he would love me forever, but now, with Vanessa White's appearance, everything has changed. He ignored my pleas and brought her from his company, a trivial secretary position, but he lied to himself and to me. I was no longer his one and only, no longer his first choice. Professor Clara Hale sighed repeatedly, his tone full of pity. I never thought he would. If you're determined to go, I won't stop you. Just be careful. I nodded lightly, stood up, and said goodbye to the teacher. But at the door, I saw Ethan Chase, holding a bouquet of flowers. He smiled awkwardly when he saw me. Wife, you came to see Professor Clara Hale? Are you still upset? I didn't say anything, just kept walking ahead. Ethan Chase stepped forward, following me closely, and shoved the flowers into my arms. Wife, don't be upset. Look at how beautiful the flowers are. Flowers match beautiful women. Smile. The next second, I angrily threw the flowers on the ground. Ethan Chase's smile froze instantly, and he bent down to pick up the flowers. How could you treat flowers like that? These were the ones Vanessa White picked out for you. Are you disrespecting her feelings? Looking at this man, so concerned about the flowers, I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. He kept talking about the flowers, but he was really talking about Vanessa White, and I was the villain, tearing them apart. Have you forgotten? I'm allergic to sweet osmanthus flowers, but not to any other flowers? Ethan Chase used to send me flowers day and night, every time, different types, all flown in from abroad by special delivery, over 1,000 kinds. But I'm allergic to sweet osmanthus flowers. I once had a fever for 3 days and nights after touching them, and Ethan Chase was so scared he kneeled down, begging the doctor to save me. When I woke up, Ethan Chaseldish said he'd rip out every sweet osmanthus flower on earth. Anyone who makes my wife allergic is unforgivable. But now, Vanessa White, as his personal secretary, surely knew about my allergy. Ethan Chase not only forgot, but let her hurt me without restraint. He rushed to throw the flowers aside, carefully checking if I was feeling okay. Wife, I forgot. I'll definitely punish Vanessa White. Next time she won't be so careless. I sarcastically smiled. Getting into his car, Ethan Chase kept glancing at me, trying to cheer me up with endless chatter. Wife, I'll take you to that new French bistro on Sunset Boulevard. I heard it's amazing. Vanessa White was so excited. He was speaking with such enthusiasm that he didn't realize what he had just said. I turned to look at his flustered face and sighed. Some things, even if unspoken, keep showing up. I'm a little tired. Take me to the sanatorium in the south of the city. I want to relax. That sanatorium was built by Ethan Chase just for me, because I always had back pain at work. He spent billions to create a mountain retreat just for me. But now, Vanessa White's arrogance was wearing me down. What? You want to go where? In an instant, Ethan Chase spun the steering wheel as if hearing something absurd. The car crashed into a lamppost. In the chaos, I felt a warm flow of blood trickling down to my eyes. Ethan Chase screamed desperately. Wife. Hold on. I'll take you to the hospital. Ignoring the blood soaking his expensive wool shirt, he carried me to the nearest hospital. Where's the doctor? Doctor, come out. Save my wife. You have to save my wife. The nurses and doctors rushed to the scene, and when they saw it was Ethan Chase, they gasped. Isn't that the crazy in love bossy? He's carrying his wife to the hospital? Oh my god, this is true love. How can anyone be lucky enough to have a boyfriend like this? Madam is seriously hurt. He must be heartbroken. I gave a weak smile, but my heart was bleeding. They couldn't imagine that the so-called perfect man was the one who had put me in this situation. Ethan Chase anxiously paced outside the operating room, but after a while, a sweet, familiar ringtone rang. He didn't hesitate to answer it, and his anxious expression slowly turned into a sweet smile. Then, with a guilty glance, he turned and left without a word. My heart turned to ash. The man who once would have given me his heart had finally changed. I closed my eyes, numb, and when I woke up again, my phone was flooded with photos and videos. All of them were of Ethan Chase and Vanessa White. Every place was one we used to go to. Every scene was one he had created just for me. But now, he was with another woman, leaving me behind, forgetting my safety. My hands trembled as I opened one of the videos. Ethan Chase, still wearing that blood-stained shirt, was pressing Vanessa White down on a massage chair, having his way with her. The woman's voice trembled. Boss I'm sorry, I didn't mean to buy sweet osmanthus flowers. I really forgot. HMPH. Little vixen, I think you're getting too bold. Didn't I say, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. But you can never anger me, Carter? I know, I just wanted you to think of me whenever you see the wildflower. I won't do it again next time. Vanessa White's voice was seductive, with a hint of childish defiance. You want to come to the sanatorium, so I sent her directly to the hospital to keep her from finding out. As long as you're comfortable here, I won't let her come. You like wildflowers? I've arranged for a plane full of them to be flown in from overseas. They'll be sent to you in the next few days. Mr. You're so good, Tilda. The sounds of their playful banter were piercing, as though each word would shatter my eardrums. I couldn't bear to listen any longer. I thought Ethan Chase had just forgotten my preferences, but instead, I realized that he could truly hurt me for the sake of another woman. Even willing to harm me, he still chose to indulge in joy with Vanessa White. Tears flowed down my face, and I wiped them away as I dialed an international number. I've taken care of things here. I'll be able to depart in the next few days. That's wonderful. Miss Shaw, Ethan Chaseldren here need you so much, and they've been so excited that they haven't slept for days since they heard you're coming. Listening to the excited chatter of Ethan Chaseldren on the other end, my frozen heart felt a little warmth again. After hanging up, I gathered my things and headed to Ethan Chase's company to hand over my last remaining business. When I arrived, I noticed that everyone was looking at me strangely, with endless pity in their eyes. I didn't want to deal with it and just wanted to find the next person to take over my responsibilities. But Vanessa White, eyes red, bumped into me, apologizing humbly. Mrs. Shaw, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to seduce Mr. We just couldn't help ourselves. I was confused, but someone nearby cautiously showed me the company email. It was filled with hundreds of photos, all with inappropriate content, which had been sent by Vanessa White, but the sender's name was somehow changed to mine. I froze for a moment before realizing that Vanessa White had stolen my password using her access. I know you're angry, but you have to think about Mr. He's reputation. This could make other companies laugh at us. I know you don't like me, so go ahead and take out all your grievances on me. I'm willing to take it all. The young woman cried bitterly, her shoulders trembling uncontrollably, looking especially pitiful. Her friend, furious, jumped in, pointing at me and shouting, "You just rely on being Mr. He's wife to bully ordinary people like us? Aren't you just a discarded woman, bullying Vanessa White like this? You're real." I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. To them, I was the one destroying Ethan Chase and Vanessa White's so-called pure love. My 10 years of devotion were now nothing but a joke. I didn't want to argue, I just wanted to leave. But then, Ethan Chase, his face dark with anger, came out of his office and looked at me with a complicated expression. "Wife, I know I owe you an explanation, but you hired a private investigator to follow me and exposed it to the world. Did you ever think about my reputation? Vanessa White is also a woman. You're being so vicious, bullying a weak girl like her. What kind of person are you?" I was stunned, unable to believe these cold words were coming from his mouth. I could still recall the promises he made when we were younger. When I was 18, he picked me up for school every day, buying me 10 different types of breakfast, saying he'd buy me breakfast for the rest of my life. At 19, when I overheard classmates humiliating me, he threw away his bicycle and stood up for me, saying that as long as he was there, no one could speak ill of me. At 20, he knelt in front of my parents' graves, tears streaming down his face, promising them he would be my family and protect me from harm. And now, all he cared about was another woman. He took a knife and stabbed it straight into my heart. I nearly stumbled as I stood, struggling to hold myself up. I didn't send the photos. If you don't believe me, then I can't help it. I raised my head and spoke clearly, one word at a time. Ethan Chase didn't expect me to be so resolute, and his mask finally shattered. He glared at me, his eyes full of rage. How could you become so unreasonable? His hand lifted, but in the end, he couldn't bring himself to strike me. You keep acting like this. From now on, I won't be coming home to sleep. With that, he slammed the door and left. I don't know how I left the company under everyone's watch, but I didn't hesitate to grab my meager belongings and leave the city. Sitting on the plane, Ethan Chase sent me his final ultimatum. Tomorrow is the press conference for the Kenya support event under your name. I'm giving you one last chance to publicly apologize to Vanessa White and save the company's reputation. I sneered in, without hesitation, removed my SIM card. The next day, during the press conference, the whole company waited anxiously for my appearance. The media outside the doors crowded. Ethan Chase was desperately calling me, but all he could hear was the cold voicemail. Isn't the conference starting yet? Ethan Chase, helpless, waved his hand and announced the start. On the screen, images of Kenya's suffering flashed, and Ethan Chase passionately explained how the charity would help improve the lives of refugee children. Now let's connect with our staff in Kenya to provide an update. The screen flickered, and to everyone's shock, my face appeared on the screen. Ethan Chase panicked immediately, shouting, "Wife, what are you doing in Kenya? It's so dangerous. Why are you there?" I smiled faintly and raised the microphone. "It's wonderful here. Everyone is kind. There's no deceit, no lies. And I'll never see you again." As my words hung in the air, the sound of elephants charging shook the ground. "Miss Shaw, watch out. Wild elephants are coming." The connection was abruptly cut, and Ethan Chase's voice rang out in despair, screaming for me to return. "Use every contact in Kenya. Find her. Find my wife." Ethan Chase, like a madman, rushed out of the press conference, charging like a wild beast. Calm down. Don't be reckless." Vanessa White tried to stop him, but he shoved her aside without a second thought. When had he ever treated her this way? He'd always been afraid of displeasing her. Vanessa White fell to the ground, watching helplessly as Ethan Chase ran toward someone else, ignoring her completely. The flashing lights of cameras erupted, and the headlines filled with scandal. Ethan Chase's extramarital affair and the news of his wife's death in Kenya. I watched it all unfold on my phone, feeling no connection to it anymore. What elephant stampede death? It was all part of the plan, a carefully designed tragedy to make Ethan Chase believe I had disappeared from the world forever. I could finally relax in this Kenyan village, help others, and never be disturbed again. The door to the hospital room opened, and Dr. Leo Torres from Doctors Without Borders walked in, frowning as he spoke to me. "You may have only sustained minor injuries, but you're still a patient. You need to rest and not move around too much. Drink this medicine as well. It will help you heal faster." I sighed in response. He was a friend I had met a few times back in China. Later, I heard that he had been helping injured people in pursuit of his dreams, so I contacted him and asked if he could assist me in staging this disappearance. Having a friend like him in a foreign country wasn't so bad after all. After drinking the medicine, I was about to lie down and rest, but then the nurse hurriedly barged into the room. "Miss Shaw, there are Chinese people outside the village shouting your name. They insist on getting in." My heart sank. I hadn't expected him to find me so soon. There were so many villages in Kenya, I couldn't even imagine how he had managed to track me down. The nurse showed me a video from the media, and there was Ethan Chase, looking like a madman, banging on the gate. "Let me in, today, no matter what. I will find my wife," Ethan Chase shouted at the villagers, his eyes bloodshot, completely losing control. Unfortunately, the language barrier prevented him from communicating. He just held up our wedding photo, repeatedly claiming they were married. The villagers didn't understand and tried to drive him away with their spears. Go away, I'm really her husband, let me in." He tried to present more evidence of our relationship, but little did he know that I had secretly deleted all other photos. I didn't have any family left. If I were to die here, My identity would be automatically erased back home. He went through all my apps, desperately trying to find even the smallest trace of our love, but all he found were emails from Vanessa White taunting me. Even worse, my email address was now listed as belonging to her family, proving that those emails had never come from me. As he flipped through the evidence, his face grew darker, and panic overtook him. Vanessa White rushed to his side, trying to check if he was injured, but his glare frightened her so much that she took several steps back. How dare you provoke Shui Shui? How dare you accuse her of sending those emails, you slut? Ethan Chase's eyes burned with rage, and without hesitation, he slapped her across the face. If anything happens to Shui Shui, I'll make you pay. He turned around and angrily swung his fist at the villagers, determined to break through. Please don't. Vanessa White tried to stop him, clinging to his legs, but he shoved her aside without care. When had he ever treated her like this? He had always been afraid of upsetting her. Vanessa White fell to the ground, watching helplessly as Ethan Chase ran toward someone else, disregarding her completely. A chaotic scene erupted as Ethan Chase fought with the villagers, his face battered and bruised. The nurse told me that the local police had gotten involved, and when Ethan Chase was taken away, his face was full of regret. Let go of me. I need to find my wife. She could be in danger. I felt no compassion for him. I was only worried that someone might expose my location. I quickly opened my phone and checked the trending news. To my surprise, there was an article about my disappearance and death. Netizens were lamenting my tragic fate, betrayed by my husband and provoked by the mistress. I had supposedly died abroad. There was even a dedicated group created to investigate and condemn the scumbag, husband and mistress. They insisted on exposing the betrayal I suffered. And sure enough, they dug up evidence of Ethan Chase and Vanessa White's affair. Not only had they been sneaking around in the company, but they also took advantage of my absence to engage in illicit acts in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows at our home. Vanessa White's social media was exposed as well, where she had taken photos of herself in my sexy lingerie, posted under a fake account, trying to provoke me. She constantly flaunted her romantic trips with Ethan Chase, going to all sorts of places together. The anger from netizens reached its peak, and they flooded her account with insults, calling her a shameless mistress. They also took to Ethan Chase's company website, attacking him for the death of his wife. With Ethan Chase's company in turmoil and drowning in debt, he had no choice but to return home to manage the crisis. Ethan Chase collapsed, shouting that he would fire Vanessa White. But as a major corporation, there were rules, and he couldn't just fire someone without reason. This was the first time Ethan Chase was willing to throw someone under the bus without care. Netizens had a field day, mocking the once untouchable mistress who was now discarded and humiliated. She sacrificed everything, and now she's worse off than a prostitute. Somehow, Vanessa White managed to escape from the woods and found me. Her body was bruised and battered, and she looked like someone who had been badly mistreated. She stood in front of me, her eyes red and swollen, and spoke to me with a polite tone, which caught me off guard. Shui Shui, I want to talk to you. I was surprised by her politeness and listened as she continued. I know you hate me for taking your husband, but what you don't know is that I've sacrificed a lot for him too. The girl's face was full of sarcasm. I grew up in a poor family, and no one wanted to play with me, so I worked hard from a young age, hoping that others would see me for who I am. Finally, I got into a prestigious school, and later, when he noticed me, I thought he truly loved me. I believed I could replace you. The girl's eyes turned red, full of hatred, as she glared at me, her emotions running wild. But why? After you faked your death, did he abandon me like this? Why did he act like he was going to die? Vanessa White sneered at me. You don't deserve he's love. You're nothing compared to my love for him. Is that so? Then did you get him? I asked nonchalantly, watching her fall into a panic. Her bloated face twisted with confusion. Isn't it because I threatened you? Why else would you fake your death and leave so desperately? I lost my patience. My only thought was to leave. It has nothing to do with you. You're not worthy. The girl's emotions spiraled out of control. She grabbed me and began pulling at me furiously. What's there to be so smug about? With your bad temper and refusal to give he face. Do you really think he'll want you? Slap. I gave her a sharp slap across the face without mercy. First of all, no matter how old I am, I'm still 2 years younger than the you're so obsessed with. Who do you think you are, daring to say I'm unworthy of Ethan Chase? You should take a good look at yourself in the mirror. You shameless little mistress. You'll never deserve blessings. Vanessa White stormed off in fury, and I finally found peace in the small village. teaching and occasionally helping Leo Torres treat the villagers. As if ignoring his company's collapse, Ethan Chase threw everything aside and appeared in front of me again. He still refused to believe that we had no future together. Under the watchful eyes of the media and netizens, Ethan Chase agreed not to force me to return. But he still professed his love, begging me not to be so decisive in rejecting him. He even gave up many business opportunities in China, saying he would stay with me no matter what. When I taught, he helped the villagers fetch water. When I examined patients, he handed me medical instruments. As long as he didn't mention love, I thought this could work. But Leo Torres wasn't pleased, thinking Ethan Chase was becoming a nuisance. The two of them often exchanged sharp words. "You better go back to your Morgan Enterprises." "I'm not going back. If I leave, you'll take Snow away from me, won't you?" Usually, I would cover my ears and pretend I didn't hear anything. But Ethan Chase's company was falling apart. The once powerful business empire was losing stock, and every day, they were pelted with rotten eggs while people shouted for the company to shut down. Ethan Chase pretended to be unaffected in front of me, but behind the scenes, he was angry and swearing at his employees. He was no longer the popular young CEO, nor the proud Ethan Chase he once was. He had become like a bird with broken wings, unable to fly anymore. Finally, I spoke. "Go back, Ethan Chase. There are things in China that need your attention. You can't run away from them." He froze, his eyes turning red. In the end, he left, looking back at me with every step, his eyes filled with reluctance. After sending him off, I turned to Leo Torres, packed up, and we flew to another country in need of aid. Once we landed, Leo Torres and I quickly threw ourselves into the work of helping others. I completely forgot about the past love and hatred, and the joy of helping others filled my heart. Occasionally, I'd chat with friends back home, and they would share the latest gossip. From what I heard, Vanessa White had become the most hated woman in the country, someone everyone loved to despise. In fact, netizens had gathered outside her house, so terrified that she couldn't even step outside. But to me, all of that was just part of the past. When Ethan Chase finally realized I was gone, he no longer had the means to find me. Unable to pay off the debts left by Morgan Enterprises, his pride led him to choose suicide. At the moment he jumped from the building, the whole world watched live. Ethan Chase's eyes were red, as if he was hoping to see me one last time. He probably had 1,000 apologies to say, but life and death separated us, and all the love and hatred dissipated.